And AWS chief Andy Jassy will become CEO. Let's bring in Tom Forte from D.A. Davidson. He's got a buy rating and a $3,800 price target. Ed Lee joins us as well from the New York Times. Good afternoon to you both. I'll come to you first, Tom, because interesting watching the share price reaction. Understandably, people initially a little worried at the fact that Jeff Bezos might be stepping down, though executive chairman role, he'll still be there. And what's your take on Andy Jassy?
My take on Andy Jassy is Amazon is declaring that it is a services company. So you think about AWS, you think about retail as a service, empowering third-party sellers to sell products on Amazon, delivering those products on behalf of third-party sellers. So I think that this is a declaration that Amazon is a services company. And when you go back in its history, when it launched AWS and embraced the relative strong margin versus their first-party retail business, that is why the stock is where it is today. So I think Andy Jassy can lead the company forward as a services company.
Tom, in the statement, Bezos calls it an optimal time for this transition. I think Jassy was always seen as an heir apparent, was he not? But the timing comes as a bit of a surprise. Why do you think this is happening right now?
So I do acknowledge that it happened earlier than I would have anticipated. And looking back, as John Fort pointed out, when Jeff Wilke retired, I think that tipped off that Andy Jassy was in line to be the heir apparent. But to Jeff Bezos' credit, he's handing off the company when it is incredibly healthy. So he's giving Andy Jassy a very strong Amazon. And Amazon, if you think about it, is potentially at a turning point when you think about what they're doing in healthcare with Amazon Pharmacy, with testing their employees for COVID, with clinics for their employees' families for COVID. So again, I think it's a declaration that long-term Amazon is a services company.
Ed Lee, I mean, clearly Jeff Bezos is still going to be executive chair, but also the release says he'll have time to focus on the Day One Fund, Bezos Earth Fund, Blue Origin, Washington Post, and other passions. He's going to remain a very busy man, of course.
He will remain a busy man, as you said. I mean, but look, founder-led companies are founder-led for a reason, and I agree with John Fort entirely. I'm actually going to sort of take it a step further from what John was suggesting or saying, and how much of this leadership change is sort of a de facto versus a de jure change. In other words, these other interests that Jeff has had are things that he's always spent a ton of time doing, and Day One is sort of a key phrase for him. It's sort of his mantra where, you know, every day is day one, which means you cannot rest on your laurels. You have to continuously innovate, come up with new things. I think he's always been playing that role, and all these different divisions, whether it's AWS led by Jassy or the retail led by Dave Clark, they've been really well managed. So he's been the guy at the top who can sort of do the more fun stuff, right? Innovate, and very much in the vein of how startups, even long-running startups, have been running. So I think, you know, there's maybe just a formality to what has already been. And in that way, I don't, you know, the thesis on Amazon really shouldn't change for that reason. If anything, you know, if it's more official, you're going to look for more, you know, he was interested in drone deliveries for a while, and I know that's still something he's looking at. So just look out for more crazy and fun ideas from him beyond just his own personal stuff, whether it's the Washington Post or Blue Origin. I think Amazon ultimately benefits from this more official change of what he had already been doing.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.